Consider the human mind, a magnificent instrument, capable of wonders. Yet often, it is a prisoner of its own constructs, a magnificent bird in a gilded cage of concepts, beliefs, and pre-established frameworks. From the moment we are born, we are taught to categorize, to label, to define. We build mental walls around ideas, separating them, giving them names, believing that by naming them, we have understood them. We create maps of reality and then, often tragically, confuse the map for the territory. This process, while essential for navigating the physical world, simultaneously limits our ability to perceive the true, boundless nature of existence. Our intelligence, as we typically conceive it, thrives on certainty. It seeks to resolve, to conclude, to put an end to ambiguity. It craves solid ground beneath its feet. But the universe, in its majestic and terrifying grandeur, is anything but solid. It is a ceaseless flow, a dynamic dance of becoming and unbecoming, a symphony of paradoxes that defy simple logic. And so, the genius constrained by certainty, no matter how brilliant, will always find itself bumping against the edges of its own self-imposed boundaries. It will always be solving problems within a box, unaware that the true solution, the more profound insight, lies just beyond the edges of its limited sight. The mind trick, then, is not about becoming more intelligent in the conventional sense. It is about becoming differently intelligent. It is about dissolving the cage, dismantling the maps, and daring to step into the untamed wilderness of pure perception. It is about cultivating a state of mind that is not afraid to say, "I do not know," not as a statement of ignorance, but as an open invitation to wonder, to explore, to simply be with the mystery. This is the beginner's mind, a state of perpetual receptivity where every moment is fresh, every observation pristine, unburdened by the weight of past experience or future expectation. It is the intelligence of a child, not yet hardened by dogma, not yet confined by the walls of conventional wisdom, seeing the world with wide, unblinking eyes, ready to be astonished. This radical openness is not passive. It is an active surrender, a deliberate choice to suspend judgment, to set aside the internal narrator that constantly tries to make sense of everything, to label, to compare, to contrast. It is a moment-to-moment practice of letting thoughts arise and pass without attachment, without granting them the power to define your reality. In this space of profound stillness, beyond the ceaseless chatter of the analytical mind, a deeper current begins to flow. It is the current of intuition, a knowing that bypasses the laborious process of logic, a sudden flash of insight that seems to come from nowhere, yet feels profoundly true. This intelligence, beyond the realm of mere genius, understands that everything is interconnected. It sees the web, not just the individual strands. It perceives the echoes of the cosmos in the smallest grain of sand, the vastness of time in a single fallen leaf. It understands that separation is an illusion, a convenient construct for navigation, but not the fundamental truth of being. When you shed the mental walls that divide, when you see the inherent unity in all phenomena, your perspective expands exponentially. Solutions to problems that once seemed intractable begin to reveal themselves not as answers to be found, but as natural consequences of a newly perceived harmony. The trick, then, is to ask not just what, but how else. To question the very questions we ask. To dig beneath the surface of apparent problems and explore the underlying assumptions that give them life. It is to cultivate a relentless curiosity, not merely for facts, but for the very nature of reality itself. It is to dance with paradox, to hold contradictory ideas in your mind without demanding resolution, understanding that sometimes the tension between two truths reveals a deeper truth still. This is where true breakthroughs occur, not through linear progression, but through leaps of perception, through the dissolution of old patterns and the emergence of entirely new ways of seeing. This awakening is not a destination, but a continuous unfolding. It is a lifelong commitment to unlearning, to dissolving the layers of conditioning that obscure our innate capacity for profound understanding. It is a recognition that wisdom is not a static state of knowing, but a dynamic process of becoming, of constantly expanding, of ever-deepening connection. When you allow yourself to dwell in this space, when you consciously choose to cultivate this radical openness, you invite an intelligence that is not limited by personal history, by cultural norms, or even by the limitations of human reason. It is an intelligence that understands silence not as an absence, but as a presence, a fertile ground from which all creation springs. It recognizes that true answers often emerge not from shouting, but from listening, not from imposing, but from observing with profound stillness. This is the intelligence that hears the whispers of the universe, that understands the language of the soul, that perceives the patterns woven into the fabric of time and space. It is an intelligence that empowers you not merely to solve problems, but to live with a deeper sense of purpose, with profound empathy, and with an unwavering connection to the fundamental rhythms of life itself. It is not an intelligence that you acquire, but one that you uncover, a latent potential waiting patiently within you, ready to be awakened. So I invite you now to pause, to breathe, to cast aside, even for a moment, the incessant need to know, to define, to categorize. Allow yourself to simply be, to observe your thoughts without judgment, your feelings without attachment, to stand at the threshold of the unknown, not with fear, but with a quiet, shimmering anticipation. In this brave act of surrender, in this willingness to embrace the boundless mystery, you may just begin to glimpse the outlines of an intelligence that truly transcends, an intelligence that is not merely genius, but something far, far more. Reflect deeply on these words. Consider how much of your own perception is shaped by what you believe you already know. What if, by letting go, you could see everything anew? What if the greatest truths are found not in the answers you seek, but in the questions you are willing to hold, open and undefended? I encourage you to explore this path, to step beyond the confines of ordinary understanding. If these ideas resonate within you, if they spark a deeper curiosity, then consider subscribing to this channel. Join us as we continue to journey into the depths of philosophy, psychology, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. Until our next profound inquiry, keep questioning, keep wondering, keep becoming,